you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. And sorry, it took me a second to get on here. Trying to get situated. Hey, Allie. Hey, On the Case with Jeannie. Hey, Princess Megan Elsa. Skittles Riddles. Hey, Melissa Jade. Hey, Allie Cat Punksy. Mrs. Jen Lou. Hey, Vicky G. Hey, Jan. Hey, Care. Glenjamin. Sleuth Mom. Cool Gamer. Hey, Louisiana Girl. I hope you ladies are shaking your... Oh my God, Modine. Lord help us. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Angie. I'm doing pretty good, you guys. Been watching Court. Hey, Corinne. Amber. Hey, Tiff. Been watching Court, which, I wonder how many of you guys watched all day. Let me know if you did. And then also, I had to have Bentley back at the doctor today. So remember, he had bronchitis Monday of the week before this week. So almost 2 weeks ago. Today he went back. She's afraid he's starting to get pneumonia. We got more steroids, new antibiotics. And yeah, so it's been kind of an exhausting day. I'm excited, though, to talk to you guys about all the things from today. Let's see. Hey, Eddie. Hey, Jet's mom. Hey, Teresa. Hey, In the Bushes. Patty Ponytail. Juju Bones. Hey, Marina Girl. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Parker. You watched all week, every day. Watched all day. You did. Most of the day I did. Those are my party emojis. What? Let's see. Hey, Will B. All right, well, I guess we're going to go ahead and get started. I haven't missed a second either. Wow, I can't believe, I was looking just now at the, right before we started at my, first witness of the day, which is Kelly Smith. She was a crime scene technician. And I can't believe how many we got through today. That doesn't even feel like today. It really doesn't. Missed a couple hours because I sat down and crashed out. Oh, I know you're tired then, because I do that when I'm really tired too. Hey, Carrie G. So yeah, it was pretty crazy today. I got lots and lots of thoughts, you guys. Yeah, I'm not going to be on camera. I will for a second because I'm currently hiding out in the spare bedroom at my mom's. And yeah, I just don't have my lights plugged up or anything like that. So, but hello, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to actually share my screen and bring up my little Facebook thing so we can start to look at some of the photos from the courtroom as we go through and talk about it. And we got some videos and stuff too. Which those were from earlier. I put them together in a video. So, okay, yeah. First, like I said, the first witness was Kelly Smith. Kelly Smith is a crime scene technician. She says they do documentation, photographs, evidence, DNA, fingerprints, autopsy, everything. She actually went to the scene of the crime. They start to talk about projectiles that were found inside the suitcase, and those were the shell casings at first, but then they start to talk about bullets, the pillow, and bullets that were found in the pillow. So, that's just, to me, it's just more of putting the story together. I think it's important, though, this especially very important because, and there was some talk a little bit today, in the chats I was in about Gannon not coming home on video that day or people not seeing him. Many people didn't think he ever made it home that day because you don't see him. But he did. And, his life was taken. The final thing that was done to him was done in his room. And, this is just more evidence of that. Let me see. Hey, Yorkie. She shot him, yes. So she stabbed him 18 times. On the first day, this is how they described his wounds. He was stabbed. He had 18 stab wounds, but some of those were on the hand and the arms. So, some of those might be defense wounds, but there's 18 stab wounds. There was a blunt force trauma to the head, and the prosecutor said that it crushed his skull like an egg. That was his literal quote. And then there were 3 shots fired, but 2 of them went into his pillow. And then 1 went into his jaw and was lodged in his spinal cord, which would have been, the final. Yeah. And the ADT alerts show him and, yes, Letecia were both home. And it shows how many times the door was open, how many times she was up and down the steps, different things like that. So they can really, with all those little pieces, they can pretty surely say that, yeah, he did make it home that day. Hey, Laced in Chains. Yeah, it's absolutely horrific. I would like to know the start too. And I think that we know that he was burned. We hear him say, in that video clip that we heard on day 1, I'm just worried about my burns. Now, she says that is, she tries to explain the blood on his wall by saying he was picking his arms. And this is a lot. We got a lot of this from the phone calls with her and Al, but, that he was picking his burn. I've never, they cauterize your nose if it bleeds too much. You don't really hear of, like, you get burned and there's a lot of blood. You'll blister up and there might be like some other, gross, but like fluids and stuff, but not blood. I caught up on the phone calls and she had every lie mapped out. That's this Letecia. That is who Letecia is. That is why it's so crazy that she can even say this insanity defense, that she's not guilty by reason of insanity, because she manipulated and covered up all along the way. And then on those phone calls, Parker, you heard Al say, what you were doing to him, that's abuse. Like the manipulation to Gannon that night, we hear her, real time, the way she treated him. But, today, this first witness, Kelly Smith, she does go into the t-shirt and the defects on the shirt. And we learned that there are some defects over the left side of the chest. So, that leads me to believe that he was stabbed in the chest, in the lower left side of the chest. There were some in the arms, in the back, she goes through those. We don't get to see it, but we hear about it. Yeah, always picking his nails also. Yep, Akasha. Hey, Lips. Picking burns, barely bleeds. Exactly. Yep, there will be fluids, not usually blood. Letecia. Throw hot wax on him. Well, something happened, and we don't know exactly whether that was Gannon who knocked over a candle, whatever. There was something happened with the candle. Why wasn't he with his mom? Legitimately asking. He right at this point in time, he was with his mom during the summers and on vacations, but they had a lot of custody. There was a lot of battling, between Landon and Al at one point. And I think that we hear from them, in the first couple of days of court, that he did truly have reservations about his safety. There was just, you guys know how it is when you first split up with somebody, like the custody stuff. But she did still have custody, and she was pregnant. I think she was having some health issues. So at this time, Al had, primary custody, but she had primary custody just before that, and they had just switched. So it just happened to be at this time Al had it. And at this time, Al was, doing the Army Reserves, where you have to leave from time to time. Other personality, Letecia. She started with the guy in the house because she thought she had a witness from the neighborhood to lie for her. Oh, yeah. Now, I cannot wait to get into that. Some chick poured hot wax on me. You guys, all jokes aside, not long ago, I was downtown shopping in Greenville, North Carolina, and there's this little tiny, like, boutique, and they have, like, kind of unique items, and they had this lotion wax, like, that's a candle that you melt, and then it turns into a lotion. Hey, Summer. Gannon very much loved his mom. I think Letecia resented that. I do too. And yet we hear that as well on the stand, that, Gannon was a mommy's boy. He does say that he had some of that same love for Letecia. And Al Al says that Gannon cared about Letecia, wasn't scared of her and stuff like that. A lot of people, there's a lot of rumors that kind of speak to otherwise, but I don't know. Hey, Crime Curious, how are you? Okay. So then we get into the backside. So the defects are in the lower left chest area, the collarbone, the left arm, the backside, the left sleeve. He was wearing a jacket, and then they get into the suitcase. So they do bring the suitcase into the courtroom, and that is right here. If you see it, they have it open behind the prosecutor's table here. It's so blurry because the footage that we do get is not like some trials. You have the media in there, so you get really good zoomed in looks at everybody and everything. This is like a WebEx, camera, and it's just not good quality. So let me see what I've got next on here. The suitcase, there was no cross-examined for that witness. Now the judge did ask, I thought this was interesting. At first I thought it was like he had just said he wasn't doing cross, but then we hear someone who's not the prosecution ask if the suitcase had been cleaned, and some timeline questions. The suitcase had not been cleaned, though. I don't know if it's because it was in the plastic or what made him ask that, but yes, I was there. I'm good. So much interesting testimony today. I'm replaying 2 witnesses now because I need to make sure that I heard what I think I did. Hey, Shortcake. I spent the first half of the day watching in Jen Lou's and then the second half watching in Sleuth Moms, but I kept getting behind, so I wouldn't always be in chat. I was doing things and taking notes. Next we have Trevor Seifert. And you know what? I'm not even going to try with his name. He's a senior crime analyst. The whole point of him coming on was just to talk about the DNA briefly. There was nothing to that. Then we have Alexis Pack. She was from Pensacola, Florida. And now this was a front desk agent at the Candlewood Suites. And I'm going to show you guys after we get through all of this, a friend of mine who it's actually a mod for the channel Mexi. She lives in the area and she drove from the hotel to the bridge and filmed it a couple days ago. And we're going to check that out. I think the jury expected a bloody suitcase. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just learning, but I feel like she's trying to implicate Harley. It's interesting. Just looks small through the camera. Yeah. Okay. They had me afraid that it was going to smell, but I didn't smell anything. Did they? Oh my. Oh, that would be so hard in person to through some of this. I'm so sorry, Crime Curious, and thank you for reporting back to us when you go. Because it's just a different perspective. That's nice to have. So this front desk agent, she talks about a document Letecia signed, and she did. Let's see, I put February 4th, 20. I don't know why I dated it then. I see what I did. She stayed on the 4th. Now I just wrote the call happened on the 13th and 14th, but that was for my own time reference, just trying to keep up with everything. Letecia, there's some interesting things with this. Now, Letecia says, when she's checking in this hotel, she's from South Carolina. And I had to wonder if that was purposeful to keep them from knowing I'm from Colorado, where this missing boy is. She also said that she used a discount code or discount, that you get if you work for Ford Motor Company. And they were talking about this in Jen Lou's. And I remember my mom, she worked for the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And every time we went somewhere, she would get a government discount. So, and she would sometimes let try to book a room for my brothers, or you know what I mean, to try to, when she could, to get that discount. So that was kind of interesting. Now the lady that did this, she said, this is something the person making the reservation would have to do. This isn't something they would do. She checked in at 12:23 a.m. and she checked out at 11:11. Now there was only number of guests, there was only one. So that's also interesting to me because I have to wonder, Harley, we have the aunt. I don't know where everyone was at, but on the paperwork, one number of guests. Now, on cross-examination, their whole thing was basically, so did you ever see her? And no, she had not seen, she couldn't recall if she had, she said, I checked her out. I don't know if I did it or a maid told me she left. She couldn't remember. You guys, it's been a while, you know? So is this suitcase hard plastic or fabric? Crime Curious says fabric. It was Letecia who texts that if she could spend the night. That is very weird. Oh, Modine, Lord have mercy, honey. This ain't a positivity for Letecia group. you know better than that. We have daggone evil huzzy emojis just for Letecia. I know you don't like those emojis, but now, hey Mars. Hold on now. I got to get my phone out and use my emoji. Hold on now. I got to get my phone out. Sorry. God, I hate hearing myself like that. It's very weird. Alex is a bully. Okay. This ain't no evil huzzy support group over here. Okay, so then we have witness number 4, and I did not catch his name, but he was an El Paso County Sheriff for 26 years. I actually didn't even hear that. Jen Lou was the one who told me no, it's a sheriff from Colorado, because I was expecting more people from Florida. I'm going to try and add a Samara emoji for the trial. Yes. There's the emojis of doom. Remember that Letecia didn't know this girl. The first time she met her was when she was picked up at the hospital. It's possible that Letecia thought she was texting a different friend of Harley's. Crime Curious, that's what I thought too. I really, when we heard this live, that's kind of my thought was, did she think that was like get her confused with someone because she's like right in the car with her? The amount of manipulation this monster had going on is unreal. I know. So then this officer talks about a call with a female about Gannon, and then a face-to-face with Letecia at Starbucks, where they talk about, he also talks about, their Apple Watches, looking at the phones for Google Maps. There wasn't a ton, anything that I want to point out, except for in the cross-examination, the defense comes on and says, do you come in or did she seem to be suffering from any mental illness? I forget his words, but that's the question basically. And he says, well, I don't know what people are suffering from. And the Letecia's lawyer says, well, in your regular day-to-day work, do you come across people with dissociative identity disorder? And he was like, yeah, sure, from time to time. And then the redirect, the prosecution gets up there and he is like, so given your testimony that you just gave, basically that you do come across people with dissociative identity disorder from time to time, did she appear to be suffering from DID? And the officer said, no. And I was like, yes. I like Michael Allen. I can't help it. I like him. Lots say Harley was involved, but I don't know yet. I'm hoping not. I've wondered myself, but like even today, Avery in Sleuth Mom's chat was talking about, kind of had the opposite opinion that she was like a victim of her mother. And I think that she's talked to her some. So, oh, yay, Mars. Well, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that I can catch you up. So then we have witness number 5. That's Leslie Hicks. She's a teacher, but she also was the assistant principal. Here's some more interesting stuff. Now this, y'all, Letecia she's a character. She is a damn character. So Letecia applied for a job as a special education teacher with this school. And she was going through like messages and references and stuff, and it was quite interesting. And you got to remember this for later on. So there was one reference by the name of Connie Huddle, and when she called this number, Eugene Stauch answered the phone, and she didn't speak to Connie Huddle, and she kind of just thought nothing of it, that maybe she got a wrong number, but she did have some trouble finding the references. Okay. So the defendant claimed she had a doctorate from Liberty University, and she did sign emails and stuff, Dr. Stauch. Now, I want to email Liberty University myself just to get a clear answer about that, because I don't think that's true, but I don't know, because it's been so long since this started. Like, it's really hard to remember everything. She wanted a better job they offered, Dr. Stauch. Yeah, she wanted, oh my God, in her messaging about that. I want to be loyal to the school. I don't know if I should still apply, or I don't want to leave them hanging and just not show up. No, you apply for the best job you can get, and you take whatever you get, you idiot, but whatever. She enabled her mom, but she was a kid. Ava says that she thinks it's both. I looked at Harley's socials for the first time today. She's very much into the things her mom was, materially speaking. I was so into this testimony that I made a duplicate. Oh no. I attend Liberty University. It's very hard to get your doctorate from there. And what was her alleged doctorate? Education? Okay. Then we have, the what time do I need to be there tomorrow? All that stuff. They talk about her demeanor. Then we have witness number, now I didn't number this one, number 6. So does that mean all my other ones are off? Well, damn it. Yep, they are then. So this is witness number 6, Kevin Clark. Now, Kevin is the director of crime strategies and intelligence in the 4th Judicial DA's office. He also does has cash training, which is the cell phone stuff, and he's a senior criminal intelligence officer. Just take the craziest notes. I'm sorry, you guys. Yeah, they call me Dr. T. I heard Dave Young whisper to Michael Allen after he said it was Gannon's number as a reference that she also used Harley's number, but Mike Allen chose not to say that part. Ooh, okay. People wonder why our school systems are so bad. Not checking references is a big problem. Well, I think she checked them. They just didn't all check out. And then she was just, she said that's common. Hey, Jamie, Texas chick. Okay. So then he was asked if he would temporarily assist on this case for 30 to 60 days. So basically he did things like with search warrants into the cell phones. He called it call detail records, where basically it just puts who they speak to, for how long, text messages, just all the information, sometimes subscriber info, who pays the bill, that kind of thing. Then they ask about Connie Huddle. And then we find out that number that was read out for this assistant principal was Gannon's cell phone number. So I was mind blown by that. I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? Hey, Brooke. Hey, Wolfie. Like, seriously? That just, ugh. But anyways, then we have number 7. They're on here as number 6. But number 7 was another officer, and they go through this more body cam footage. Now, in this one, the first one, I must have had really bad service. The body cam footage was just in and out. I am too, Sleuth Mom. But yeah, the first time I watched the body cam footage, it was in and out. I didn't hear a ton of it. My service was bad. Well, today I don't know if they, I could hear Harley. And I know I heard some of what I heard the first day, but I heard some that I hadn't heard the first day. It was in and out for me too, Allie. Okay, gently. Well, good. Then, maybe it wasn't just me and it was all of us. I literally said out loud at work, "Oh shit," when he said it was Gannon's number. RJ, I was like shocked as well. And mad. I was mad because it's like, no, you don't get to use him like that. Yeah, Gannon's number, Tiff. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Dr. T. Oh. So this body cam footage, in the body cam footage, we hear Letecia talking about, and this ticked me off, talking about the Facebook group for their community and how in this Facebook group, someone had posted a picture of Gannon walking away from the house, and she knows it's him because he had his Stitch with the Mario case in his hand. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, but that body cam footage is another thing that to me shows that she's not suffering from what she's claiming, because you can hear her actively trying to make them think it's not a big deal. Literally, the cop gets a call while he's there and he's like, "No, nothing suspicious. I think I even wrote that here. Yeah, nothing suspicious. He had been in trouble that day and he took his game. He's probably at a friend's house playing games." What? The bath salts now, cray, that pisses me off too. It's not just did she use this baby, hurt him, and all the other things, but accusing him of that kind of stuff, like slandering his name, or the video she posted on Facebook of him jumping in the water, that and that kind of stuff. It's just disgusting. There was no cross-examination of this witness. So now we're on to number 8, which is Christopher Ganstein, an El Paso County Sheriff, patrol supervisor, and was a detective sergeant at this time. Now, on this case, this was so interesting. On this case, hold on, let me read Jen Lewis and then I'll go into it. Okay, I need to get this off my chest. The neighbor lady, while somewhat helpful, makes me worry that people will think it's a fantastic idea to inject themselves into an investigation. I think that's a good and fair point. So, on this case, Christopher Ganstein did covert surveillance. He did surveillance on the defendant, and he's up there and he's talking about her. Letecia is not listed in the 2019 graduate alumni. Parker, could you contact them? And you know what? You could do a really great video after and or something like that. You could do it and make contact out of it, but you could still contact them or talk to one of your find out if there's a way that you can get, because I know they did it with FIA. Someone emailed Stockholm University, asked if she was registered to have graduated from there. They got her names and they wrote her back and said no. Hey, Lisa. Yay, Parker. Thank you. That'll be so great, because I thought about it, but that'd be even easier and better since you go there. I found her court papers for dismissal on Google. There was some kind of case. She was a special education teacher with extended co-teaching responsibilities in a regular classroom. Hey, Marcus. Okay. So now this officer, his testimony was just interesting as hell. So he's talking about, doing surveillance on Letecia. And first he talks about her riding in the backseat of, oh, Amanda, thank you. Thank you so much, Amanda. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Very, very sweet. And I appreciate that about Bentley too. So he talks about her riding around in the back seat of Harley's Jetta, ducking down, acting suspicious, kind of the way that, other people typically do when they're doing something wrong, right? And they're trying to hide out or they think they might be being watched. So, maybe I'll just play the video here. So the one who stopped her and Harley to get the phone and the keys, which we heard about in her interview, and Sleuth Mom pulled it up earlier and found the exact spot. So maybe I could use where you found it in that video to play it. She started running and threw the keys. All right, let's watch these two video clips. First we're going to go look on her interview at what she said, because I remember her saying, "I can't believe they, did this to someone who's given her life to serving our country," or whatever, talking about Harley. Had her in cuffs just for the keys in her purse. The keys weren't in her purse. They were in Mom's hand when Mom walked out until Letecia threw them across the parking lot to keep the cops from getting them. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, let me find her video from today, because it's like she back spot. Hold on just a moment. And this is Sleuth Mom, her channel. I'm going to grab the link, but if you guys, Melissa, will you do me a huge favor and get that link, or Woofy? If you guys aren't subscribed, go over there and subscribe. I had linked it in the community page earlier. She's been streaming the trial as well. So I know that Jen Lou is streaming it. And then when she's not, I'm alternating between the two right now watching. But yeah, she has a great channel. So, and she covers, a variety of things. All right, let me find this part of the video, which is like, here. Here we go.
Wasn't compliant with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, and in doing the investigation, I was told I wasn't compliant and being detained in handcuffs. And then once I realized it wasn't necessary, they were in my pocket. You originally was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse so they could take her car. And they weren't in there. They weren't even in her car. I mean, investigations when they end up letting you guys know, but I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun, and my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse so they could take her car. And they weren't in there. They weren't even in her car. I mean, in her purse. And they were in my pocket. You originally didn't even know it was the law enforcement officer? I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer, because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, who's this guy? And then once I realized it was a sheriff's office, I was totally okay, but they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter, asking why she was being detained in handcuffs and things like that, when that shouldn't even happen for a child. That shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping, because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here. We came here and got clothes.
She is just so unbelievably full of shit. I really cannot. Thank you, Woofy, for sharing that. And then here is Jen Lou's. What did I put yours under? I think it was Bendy. Yeah. She's streaming it. And then, there's a lot of people covering it. But in the chat right now that's covering it, Melissa and Teresa. So I'm going to drop those as well. You have to give Letecia a little slack. She's insane. Modine, now, come on now. We know she is not insane. Criminality. She's so worried about everything other than Gannon. It is offensive how worried she is about her. Everybody's going to apologize to me and that stuff. Oh, my God. But, okay, now let's hear what actually happened, and I cannot wait until we can get this. Actually, there is no body cam footage, because they ask about it, and where he does, like surveillance and stuff, they just don't have it. So, but here.
And so I noticed that she was periodically turning around as she continued to walk backwards.
As she walked backwards, what did she do after that?
She turned and ran in a full sprint away from me. She had the keys in her hand. I was like, okay. Got on the radio and I was like, she's running. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I started running after her. As she was running away from me, she had taken the keys to the car and threw them across the parking lot. It took us a little bit of time to find them, but she had thrown them across the parking lot. And so she threw them one way and then kept running the other way from where she threw the keys.
Okay, so yes, you just heard that right. I paused it for a moment because I have something to say. One, he is confused. Thank you, Pizza Chemist. Thank you so much. He's confused at the moment why she's even running. He says he thought he maybe she was a person of interest possibly at this time, but not that she was a suspect or anything like that. He's like, what the hell is going on? So then the other thing I was going to say, now I've already lost my train of thought. So I'll tell you, because I'm sure I'll remember here in a second once I get listening again. It was something about that he had just said. Let me hear. Oops, now I rewound it too far.
I was like, okay. Got on the radio and I was like, she's running. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I started running after her.
Maybe.
As she was running away from me, she had taken the keys to the car and threw them across the parking lot. It took us a little bit of time to find them, but she had thrown them across the parking lot. And so she threw them one way and then kept running the other way from where she threw the keys.
Ultimately, after running after her, were you able to make contact?
Yes, to the two vehicles that had the lights that we were going to have come in. They rolled in, they got out. One drew his firearm and gave her commands, and she had stopped and got on the ground at that time. And then I didn't know what was going on, so I went up and handcuffed her at that time, detained her, so she can't go past me. She can't go left or right.
Okay, yeah, she threw her keys at the opposite way of which she ran. Princess Megan Elsa, because she don't want them getting in that car. She didn't want, obviously she knows that they may find whatever they may find, but I just want to watch her dumb butt running Forrest Gump style. Okay, now listen to this part. This is also quite interesting. This is, hold on. When Harley comes out. So he says Harley came out within a minute of her being handcuffed. I don't know if I got that in this clip, but just for reference.
And with
me detaining the defendant.
Okay. And with specifically as it relates to the approval of the search warrant for a cellular telephone, was that able to be gathered that day?
Yes. Initially, Harley was reluctant to give the phone. And so one of the detectives, she had it in her hand. One of the detectives just yanked it right out of her hand, so she couldn't manipulate or do anything with it.
Why? Why was
there any interaction?
Why was she reluctant to give the phone initially? And I love that detective yanked it out of her hand. Like, good. So she can't, I don't know if she would have tried, but good.
You observed between the defendant and her daughter, Harley Hunt, while you were present on scene?
Yes. The defendant was fairly hysterical. She was screaming. She was yelling obscenities, things like that. Once she realized that we were also in contact with Harley, she started screaming at Harley, saying, "Don't say anything. Tell him you want an attorney. Don't talk to him." Those type of statements. And we were trying to tell her we just need to get the phone.
And
me detaining the defendant.
Okay. And with specifically as it relates to the approval of the search warrant for a cellular telephone.
So that's quite interesting. I'm walking outside. Hold on just a sec, you guys. I need a cigarette. This case will make you chain smoke, I'm telling you. Or chain vape. Whatever it is that you might do. Up to 8 weeks will be. She knows she looked like an idiot. I know. Watch her. Oh my gosh. Watching her and her reactions is something else. And, we hear again today, the jury is asking, or the judge mentions it, after at the end, that the jury is asking, do they take into consideration her facial expressions and that kind of stuff? Snatched it right out of her hand. Oh my goodness. Even she laughed through his testimony. Hey, Mystic. Okay. Hold on just a sec. Okay. I did not bring my notebook out here, so we're going to get on to the next witness in about 5 minutes. We'll just chat for a second. Actually, let's do like an intermission. Should we? No, I'll wait and go to MJ's live video. We'll just chat for a moment. I'll pull up the latest on Twitter and flip through it because I wanted to do that anyways if we had time. And then we'll get back into our witnesses. Letecia, Stauch, not even going to put trial in there. Okay. Can we all agree these people are a waste of skin? Letecia and Alex Murdaugh. Jinlu, you crack me up calling me Alec. I can't help it. It's quite funny. Of course, she was surprised. Textbook narcissism wouldn't allow her to think folks could be circling in on her. I think this is that cop then, right? Yes. Sergeant Christopher Ganstein, the one we were talking about. This is the witness we're on right now. What a better view of him than I could see on my phone. He testified that accused stepson killer Letecia Stauch ran from authorities, threw her keys across the parking lot, and she was surprised about the search warrant. Let me check on this clip and see if I think there will be a little bit more than what I just showed you.
And then just started slowly walking back.
While that approach is happening, can you describe the defendant's demeanor?
She was surprised. So she kind of froze, and I said, "My name is Sergeant Ganson with the Sheriff's Office. We have a search warrant for the vehicle. I can't let you into it. I'm going to need the keys." And basically, it was, like I said, it was a soft approach, just like I'm talking now. She didn't acknowledge me. She didn't say anything. Where she was, she had maneuvered.
A soft approach. His whole thing was just to get the phone in the car. They were just trying to get it quickly before, anything could be changed on it, right? Because they want to get that stuff as soon as they get the warrant before the person has the opportunity to delete or clean or whatever. I cannot imagine what he thought after that. If you didn't look guilty before, you damn sure did then at that point.
Kind of closer to her driver's door, and then just started slowly walking backwards.
Were there any observations that you noticed about her gaze or where she was looking, anything like that?
Yeah, so the two biggest things I noticed is she was just stuttering, like one word, like key, warrant, like just repeating what I was saying. And then she kept walking further back, and I told her, I said, relax, you're not in trouble. I just need the keys to the car. I can't let you into it. She continued to walk back, and then I noticed she started to turn her head behind her, because when that was going on, so there's my vehicle, her vehicle, and I'm here, she's here, so she can't go past me. She can't go left or right. So all she can do is basically turn around. And so I noticed that she was periodically turning around as she continued to walk backwards.
As she walked backwards, what did she do after that?
She turned and ran in a full sprint away from me. She had the keys in her hand. I was like, okay. Got on the radio and I was like, she's running. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I started running after. As she was running away from me, she had taken the keys to the car and threw them across the parking lot. It took us a little bit of time to find them. But she had thrown him across the parking lot, and so she threw him one way and then kept running the other way.
Okay, Parker. So she's saying she did it, but was insane when she did. Literally, in the opening testimony today, or the other day on Monday, her lawyer said Letecia was not attacking Gannon. She was attacking the demons from her childhood. Did they ever make the... oh, let me see if I wrote it down. I didn't write it down, but maybe somebody else has it. Yeah, that's what he said, Parker. Exactly. Hey, Riddler. Hey, Tamara. Okay, so yeah, Harley walks out within a minute. Initially, Harley was reluctant to give the phone. The defendant was fairly hysterical, screaming and yelling obscenities and telling Harley not to tell them anything and ask for a lawyer. Cross-examination. He asked about Harley's intentions, which, obviously cannot be answered. He says, was Letecia a suspect? And he said, no, but she was potentially a person of interest at that time. He said, have you ever been... now this right here, I was like, are you freaking serious, bro? He literally asked this cop, have you ever been qualified to diagnose mental illness or expert witness for psychology? Well, no, sir. He's a cop. He's not qualified to diagnose anybody. What kind of question is that? Hey, Cheryl. I think, like Crime Curious had said a little bit ago, they are opting out of showing up in person because they can watch online. So then we get into witness number 9, Dr. Leon Kelly. This was pretty much uneventful. He is a coroner chief medical examiner. He does forensic pathology. I did not know this until today, that forensic pathology was only specifically for people who die in mysterious ways. Or like suddenly murder, like that. It's not for natural causes. Forensic pathology is, yeah. Okay, so then we cross-examination. He does ask about the smell of a human body. And I think the point that he's trying to get it across, Letecia's lawyer wants to get it across to the jury that a human body, it has, quite a strong odor that would be hard to conceal. But on re-examination of this witness, they bring up the fact that, freezing, even temporarily, it will be days before, a body will be thawed after it freezes. So, and that would definitely have a result on that. Oh, thank you, Riddler. That is so sweet. Thank you. Hey, Love Wins. Then we had Marissa Williams. That was witness number 10. She does talk about a conversation that she has. She's a police officer, and she talks about talking to Letecia on January 29th, and that she was rather evasive and was not typical to how most parents act with a child missing. Did you guys feel like that was leading up to whether or not Harley had to smell something? Yes, Crime Curious. Or not just Harley, like even, other people. I think he was trying to say that somebody would have had to smell something. Okay. Then we get on to number 11. This is Janine Sanchez. Now, Janine, this was pretty interesting. Janine worked with Harley. Let me go over to my Facebook and grab some photos, because we're done with that. I wish this picture was more clear. It is so fuzzy, but there's Harley and Gannon on the airplane. So, Janine worked with Harley, and they worked together at Massage Envy. They sometimes hung out together at Bible study. Janine describes her and Harley going to pick up Letecia from the hospital. And she says, this shocked me when she says, at one point, Letecia said, I don't want you to think we're a bunch of murderers or anything. I was like, dang. And another interesting part was she gets Harley's phone and texts this girl from the back seat and says, can my mom spend the night too? And it was like, huh? And, they were talking about it in chat, and I even thought for a second maybe she thought she was messaging a different friend. I don't know. It's just kind of bizarre. I think the defense is working towards trying to discredit Harley and going to paint her as a liar. Ooh. Okay. This was wild. I hope they don't do that, but her daughter is on the list for both prosecution and the defense. However, that doesn't mean anything necessarily. But even if you were Harley and you smelled something, would you think your mom killed your stepbrother? I don't know. And she asked you to go pick up stuff to clean up carpet and wouldn't allow you and Lena in the house after school. All those things combined. And then the fighting with, she heard the fighting between Letecia and Al and Landon, like at the end, or the conversations and that kind of stuff. Oh, thank you, Lace and Chains. Well, I guess thank you, but people do say that sometimes, and that's why I have like a Britney Spears emoji. I think there's a couple of them actually. Especially if I'm sick, I'll hear it a lot more. Like once I talk more nasally. It was a cargo van like Gabby Petito had. Early reports from neighbors said box truck. See, we have these for Miss Brittany just because of that. Let's see. I really think Harley did anything Letecia wanted. I do too. And she was probably manipulated by her all the time and maybe somewhat scared of her, Okay, so then we get on to, and this was like the star witness of the day, the neighbor. Her name is Nicole Mobley. She first met Letecia on a Facebook yard sale where Letecia had commented something to her, about making some kind of deal, but she was under Harley's account. So she's like, when she shows up on my porch and she's like a grown woman, I'm like kind of surprised. And then she does too much talking. I'm not really social, super social, and wasn't expecting that and that kind of thing. She was kind of thrown off by that. There's Letecia now. Mrs. The Walmart Kim K or Dollar Tree version. She's the clearance bin Kim K. The neighbor is great. Yeah, she was definitely wow. Her testimony, all I can say is wow. Hey, Lynn. Okay. Again, she said, another time Letecia lies that we hear about. She tells the neighbor at one point that she works for an airline. Like, okay, no, you don't, but whatever. She's staring like this at, the neighbor. She's just, look at her, for quite a long time, just like death staring her. Like, seriously, she does look like the girl off The Ring there. Jen Lou had her thumbnail this morning, had like that girl from The Ring coming out of the well, and that looks just like her. Yeah, Barbie girl. Oh my God. Amber, Lord have mercy. The Wish version. Instagram versus real life. Okay. Very weird. She was out there searching with, okay. Then she gets into when Gannon first goes missing. And she's like, I thought it was very weird that we were all out there searching and she's just in the house. And she's like, and it was obvious because people were knocking on the door. She was answering it. The lights were on. Like we were all out searching and she was in the house. Then she mentions the drama in the defendant's Facebook post. She says she messaged her the night they were searching to see where they should be looking. This was interesting. Letecia immediately blocked her. Immediately. My problem with the neighbor is I knew the defense was just waiting to find one thing she was wrong to ruin credibility. Social media messages are tough to be factual evidence. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do more of that on Cross. You're right. Then she talks about the neighbor says, I saw her they talk about the interview with KKTV and noticed her not looking at the camera and that kind of stuff. Eventually, she did get a response when using a fake Facebook account. And they started talking quite a lot. And this neighbor played into a lot of the things Letecia had said, about Landon and things like that. There's Letecia just looking at her still as she testifies. Look at this. This was funny. Look at this lady right here watching Letecia watch the witness. She's like, like, ugh. Here we have, I just took this to show you guys. This is Al right here. If you can see my mouse, he has the bald head. To the left of him, I'm assuming that is his new wife. And then Landon is one row back over to the right just a little bit. And you can see about half of her face in behind this other bald guy. So there is. And this was like during Landon did, she started crying during part of the neighbor's testimony. On February 19th, that Letecia asked the neighbor to get a texting app so that they could talk more intimately, right? And more details and more trustworthy type thing. Like, Blonde was interesting, but I didn't see how her cleverness could help police because T never admitted anything real, just ideas. So, excuse me, you guys. When the witness, she's up there and at one point she's flipping through all these messages she had with Letecia. They talked a lot, and most of this was the neighbor just bullshitting her into believing that she's like on her side or, whatever. Hey, Emily. Oh, thank you, Purple People Eater. That's very sweet. But then, she's going through the messages. She sees the photo of Gannon lying in the bed. Because Letecia had sent her that photo to point out the blanket in the photo. I'm going to go back just a little bit because we have that photo here, I think. Hold on. This one. And I saw that red and green blanket in the, I'm pretty sure that's the blanket like they had spread out in behind that witness that day where we could see in behind him when they were showing the pictures. So when this picture comes anyways, the witness starts crying and then Landon starts crying. She gets a tissue and Letecia's just still staring at her like she was like just, oh my gosh, it was just so, Parker says, is it believed Letecia was abusive to Gannon before this? So Teresa told me the other day and was mentioning like a couple of days ago that she had heard something like that. Like there was one of Gannon's friends' moms who did an interview that's no longer up anymore because I wanted to go back and watch it, but she said she went back to look and it wasn't up. But there was something like that there. And then Sleuth Mom had heard, had mentioned hearing a rumor of that once before. So there was little rumors of it. But when Al was on the stand, he said that Gannon was a mama's boy and loved his mama. And he had some of that same love for Letecia. And he was asked, was he scared of Letecia? And he said no. So, I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys think Letecia knew it was this lady under a sock account before today? Crime Curious, I wondered that myself. I don't think so, except I know defense gets like a lot of this information before it's presented in court. So maybe she was able to put two and two together, but I don't know. Very, very curious what was going through her mind while this neighbor was testifying. Hey, CDT. That's the mom people in Law and Crime must have been talking about. She did have family with her driving in their car all the way to South Carolina. I thought maybe Harley rode with them. There was a guy driving the moving van. Someone said they think the suitcase is under the blanket. You can see something boxy. Yes, I know. I've seen rumors that people think it's a suitcase. Also, that video where Gannon says, now we know that he says, I'm just worried about my burns. You can see in that video, Gannon's sister is laying on one of those wedges, like those white wedges for your back. So I guess it could potentially be something like that as well. She was interesting. I think she helped the jury see that Letecia is not insane, just crazy. Oh, Amber, I'm sorry, but anyone on the outside would have thought I wasn't scared of him because I was so desperate for his love. Oh, Amber, I am so sorry. Right, Jen she was her own attorney for a hot second, so she got some items of discovery. That's what I'm saying. I know they get it in discovery, but was she able to put two and two together of, because she wouldn't have her phone to see her old Facebook interactions with this person. So could she remember her name? And maybe, I don't know. But I guess she probably in the discovery got this lady's interview with police as well. But Letecia had the Altima, according to the hotel. Did Dakota dump the body since he was driving the van, or was the suitcase in the Altima since that's what she drove to Palmer Lake that final time? Or did she switch it over in the middle of the night? They checked in the hotel at midnight, and God only knows, in the middle of the night while everyone was asleep. Is it possible she did it then? Oh, okay. Letecia and Harley drove the Altima to Florida. I believe the other family drove the moving van to South Carolina. So the family didn't go to Florida too then, because I know that she was, at least back then, I remember she had put on Facebook she was going to like the Daytona 500 or something like that. Now, even if they were in the car, right? They said if a body is frozen solid outside in the elements in Colorado, it is going to take a few days before they thaw and, before decomposition starts happening. I think the neighbor is very significant in showing T's capability to plot and plan, trying to frame Landon. That is not insanity. Yeah. And, then after the neighbor goes into the text and all of that, basically at the end of it, she talks about Letecia asking her to lie for her and say that she saw a strange man coming from the house. Now, she basically says, I need help getting police to look in the right areas, to look out of state. She gives herself away in little ways, right? To look out of state. So, there we go. Gannon was found out of state. But she said her account was hacked for that post. The Daytona 500. Oh my God. Lord have mercy. Imagine that. She can explain every little thing away. It's quite fascinating. So where was the suitcase during the drive? In the trunk of the Altima? I guess, will we find out about the rest of the family? Debs, I guess Dakota is the driver of the moving van. Is that squarish thing under the comforter in the picture a suitcase? Many people have thought that. We don't know. Could it be a suitcase? Sure, probably. It could also be, a wedge. It could, I don't know. We don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Let's go back to Twitter because we're done with that. That was our last witness for today. Monday is going to be tough. We are starting out, and it was said in court today, we're going to start out with the Florida medical examiner with the description of injuries, autopsy, and everything like that. That's our first witness, as long as there are no flight delays or whatever. I want to show you guys a video that my friend who lives in the area took driving from the hotel to the bridge. It's just like a 5-minute video. But first, we're just going to look through some of this a little bit. If she thinks this is making her look MI, it fails. She looks like a dark black curtain of death. This grudge-looking bitch has hidden her face the entire time the evidence has been presented. Look at this one. I saw this earlier and laughed. Can my mom stay too? Y'all can't even see it. I'm sorry here. Oh my God. I'm sorry. That looks like the suitcase to me at his feet. Looks opened up maybe. I thought about that. Penny. Actually, let me look again at the wheels at the bottom. Oh, wow. I don't know. I don't know about that. It does look like it could be an open suitcase, though. Can my mom stay too? Sorry. We got to laugh when we can because this is crazy. It is going to be heartbreaking. I will never forget. Yeah, court on Monday, Lynn. I will never forget when we first heard about his defensive wounds. I was live. I was reading live tweets from the courtroom. There was no cameras at this particular hearing. It was her like preliminary or pretrial hearing where they go through like a few days of evidence. And we heard about the wounds to his hands, and I cried live. All I could think of was this poor baby, like trying to shield himself from this monster who's supposed to care about him and be protecting him and looking out for him. Like, I cannot. February 4th at 4 a.m. is when the suitcase was dumped, and Gannon was found March 17th. And they checked in the hotel at 12:30-ish. He either fought back or at the very least tried to shield himself. Yvette's husband thinks it's an open suitcase too. Interesting. Now, this is the girl, Janine Sanchez. This is the coworker that, Letecia and Harley stayed at her house, and also the coworker who Letecia said to her, "Hope you don't think we're a bunch of murderers." Oh, let's look at this quick clip.
Yes. It's okay. What did she talk to you about when she sent you this picture? She said this is the cover he left with. This is online now because it showed G back at the house with me timestamp.
That's when they're going through that photo, and where she sends it and says, "This is the cover he left with." Letecia does not watch her former neighbor leave for Easter weekend. Let's see. Someone said Nicole's husband messaged Letecia to ask why she blocked his wife on Facebook. Who does that? I'll tell you who does that. Someone who's out searching for a kid while their stepmom sits in the house, and they get blocked when asking, "Hey, where have you guys looked?" or whatever. He was just trying to, they were trying to help. Letecia Stauch is texting Nicole Mobley that she wants law enforcement to start looking in the right place and needs help taking the spotlight off her. Dictionary, stupid. There's Nicole Mobley, the neighbor. Let's see. This is where she asked her to cover up for her, and then we'll watch that video. But I want to read this. So, a neighbor of Letecia Stauch's just testified that in a text conversation with Stauch in late February, she asked for help finding a witness to say they saw someone leaving her house with a suitcase the night of Gannon's disappearance. "I need a witness," Stauch said in one text. During these texts, she tells her neighbor the story that someone had broken into her home, assaulted her, and took Gannon, similar to the story she had tried to tell her husband, Al, in the past. "What if you just said you remembered something suspicious seeing this picture and explained the description, and you didn't think it was relevant until now because the kid had the same cover?" Letecia said after sending a photo of Gannon with the blankets his body was later found with. "I swear to you, I didn't do this. I just need help with someone getting this out there so they can start posting in other states." No significant cross from the defense on this witness. So, okay, now let me get this video over here. I'm just going to actually send it to myself. on Messenger real quick. That would be the easiest. Let me find Miss Nikki Rex because she sent it to me, and MJ said that we could use it. She has a channel called MJ's Life, but this I think is like she's using this for her true crime channel now. So I'm gonna share this link, and you guys go over there and yeah, say hi. Let me grab it real fast. She lives just right down the road from where Gannon was. Yeah.
Before I started the video,
Let's listen.
this case has weighed really heavy on my heart since Gannon.
Hold on. We're going to actually listen to what she has to say as well, because I don't want to just play, little parts of it. I don't have the timestamps written down. It's a 6-minute video, so we'll just watch it together. Welcome, Twisted Taurus. Oh, thank you for joining. Thank you so much. By the way, I'm doing a members giveaway this month with a really pretty blanket with a wolf on it, because I got it because Wolfie over here, I saw it at Walmart and they had a really good sale. Also a lip gloss with real flowers in it and a really pretty bracelet. So maybe I'll choose that on, I don't know, in a few days or something, just so we can do it. I'll make a post under the membership tab. I told Alex I've been watching her since she used to sit on her floor and record. I loved her then and I love her now. Oh, thank you, Twisted Taurus. Love you too. And look, now bringing it back to those old days with Sherilyn, because my butt's sitting in the floor in my mom's house. So, oh, that is so cool. And I love that so much. Really sweet. All right. Now, let's listen to this.
Before I started the video, this case has weighed really heavy on my heart since Gannon was found near where I live. So I wanted to do a video just to get, give a better visual of the area and what it looks like. I do go over some of my opinions and theories about that night. And so you'll have to leave me a comment. Now that you've seen the area, has your opinion changed, or do you have more questions?
This is Candlewood Suites Hotel located in Pensacola, Florida. We now know Letecia, along with her daughter, stayed here.
I'm not going to pause a lot. I hate that. Like, I know you guys don't like it either. But she told me I could use it. So it's not for fair use purposes that I'm pausing. I just wanted to show she's immediately starting at the hotel where they stayed. So, and it's a very quick shot because it's kind of sped up, but she's pulling out of the parking lot.
Or do you have more questions?
This is Candlewood Suites Hotel located in Pensacola, Florida. We now know Letecia, along with her daughter, stayed here the morning of February 4th, 2020. They checked in a little after midnight and left around 4 a.m. For those that follow the case, Gannon was an 11-year-old boy that lived with his father, Al, and stepmother, Letecia, in Colorado Springs in Colorado. Gannon was reported missing January 27th, and his body was found in a suitcase by a road worker under the Escambia Bay Bridge on Highway 90 in Pace, Florida, on March 20th, 2020. This is the drive Letecia would have taken and is roughly a 7-mile drive from the hotel to the bridge.
Cray, her name is MJ. She has a channel called MJ's Life. This one is called something different. This is a new one that I hadn't seen before. It's called I'll tell you, Saturday Search.
This drive took me about 15 minutes. However, it was during the day with lots of traffic and is why I sped it up until I get to the bridge. As we now know, Letecia's on trial for Gannon's murder. And so I decided to do this video in hopes to maybe answer some questions. I get frustrated watching coverage on this case because there really isn't a visual of the area. And instead of trying to explain it in text, I figured a video would be much better, especially since there isn't really one out there, at least not that I have seen. Once I get to the bridge, I do slow the video down and I go over some theories, opinions, if you will, just of different things that I know of the area that hasn't ever really been pointed out during coverage of the case. So I also record an early morning version to show what the highway looks like during the time Letecia was allegedly out here. So make sure to stay for that.
I do want to point out that I know that the highway looks busy right now. It really only looks like this during, early morning traffic and after work traffic. We are parallel to the interstate, so unless the interstate is closed down and they have to detour people to the highway, it's usually not that busy unless it's during rush hour. We call it the flats. It's a local highway, that we use to get from Milton Pace, Florida to Pensacola, Florida. So this dirt road right here is the main reason why I wanted to do this video. So during 2020, this bridge was still being built. And this dirt road here was used for, construction workers to drive down there and have their equipment down there and be able to be underneath the bridge. Well, during that time, this gate was not up there and there was no signs up. Anybody could drive down there. Should you? No, but you could. Now, if you drove straight, you'd hit the water. If you turn left, you're underneath the bridge. So that is just something that has always stuck in my mind. She could have taken that road and been right there underneath the bridge by the rocks. So our community has set the Gannon, and y'all, anytime I drive by, it is way different. There's always something new out there and obviously as well. I forget my, otherwise I would have cleaned up a little bit better, but I'm not going to do that without gloves really, but I always do like to pull a Sonic out front. So it's just something sweet that, our community keeps up with for Gannon, and we just, we leave our blue light on and we pray for him and his family always. So here I do make it across the highway because I wanted to show you guys in between, and I'll try to include some pictures from our news article. There's many people I could walk up to right now and ask them about it, and they wouldn't know what I'm talking about. And that's just crazy because we're such a small town that it should have been bigger news. But here you'll see in between the bridge, all the rocks where a suitcase was found. But if you think back to that dirt road, and I'll zoom here in a minute, it would have been very easy access for her to drive down there and pull over. So, I think, could she have stopped at the top of this bridge at around 3:34 a.m. in the morning and nobody see her? Absolutely. And you'll see that in the early morning version here in a second. But could she have picked up the suitcase? I don't know. Okay, so here's the early morning version I said I would include. And this is mainly just to show what it looked like around the time she was allegedly out here, February 4th, 2020. And as you see, there's maybe one or two cars, and that'll happen, one or two cars an hour, if that, during this time until about 6 in the morning when people get up and start going to work and school. So just wanted to point that out. It's an old country road surrounded by the bay with no street lights, and is dark with no one out here. And here again is the dirt road. And if I could turn off my lights and that gate wasn't there and drive down there and show you guys, I would. No one would see me. No one could see me. So, and again, if they did, they wouldn't have thought anything of it. And here, she would have stopped at the top of the bridge, unless it was a police officer driving by. No one, would have thought anything of her stopping at the top of the bridge. They just wouldn't have. So here I showed it's 3:48 a.m. And that was about the time she was allegedly out here. So just wanted to, give everyone the visual. Y'all be sure to keep Gannon's family and loved.
Wow, that was a really good video. I really appreciate her going out there and doing that. Yes, Sleuth Mom, I would love to see that. So Sleuth Mom said, Yvette, here's her link. I think I just dropped it. Yeah, I'm going to drop it again though. Yes, I just dropped it in there. There's her link. I think she did a good job too, Mo. And she lives in the area. And yeah, let me see what Sleuth Mom said, the first comment, as I read it. But the trap door put across down under the bridge where the suitcase was sitting. She went live streamed walking down through the entire area for us. It was heartbreaking when she went. You could still see some of the grass. The vegetation was smashed from where the suitcase was. Oh my goodness gracious. So I wonder, do you guys think that she went on that dirt road? I kind of think she dropped it from the top. I think that she thought that it would maybe go in the water. How would Letecia have found that bridge, though? Is it something that she would have seen coming from Colorado to Florida? Jen, I don't know. Let's go back to, let me see. When she leaves the hotel, she drove us straight there, but I want to get back to right before the bridge. hold on.
Down and I go over some theories, opinions.
We're going to pause it. And then, is this it right here? Or is it the next one?
During the time Letecia was allegedly out here, so make sure to stay for that. I do want to point out that I know that the highway looks busy right now. It really only looks like this during, early.
Sorry, I got turned around a little bit. My sense of direction is like awful, absolutely awful. I cannot. Just I love MJ's life. Yeah, she's really, really sweet. This is her new channel, and yeah, she's great. Love your tie-dye, especially your shoes. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so do you guys think she walked down the side, or the way they testified, it sounded as if it was dropped? See, with him, yeah, I don't know. What did he say? I can't remember exactly. He said that, why do you say that after his testimony? Because I'm trying to think back about how it looked, but Risk, yes, he had already passed away. Why did she choose to go there? I don't know. I think she dropped it from the top. There are alligator ponds everywhere, and I'm not being vulgar. It's just weird. No, it is weird. From the top, thinking it would go in the water and be carried away. Yeah, I would love to know, because I don't remember exactly. Didn't he say like the position it was in, though? Exactly how it looked like. Is that what you mean? Was it the position that makes you think it was dropped, or the fact that it was like, I don't know, close to the water? Or no, Cheryl, it was in the middle of the night. I think it was dropped. He said it was positioned oddly, like it was up on, yes, something like that, Jen. I remember something. Yeah, because it was landed on a corner. Yes. There we go, you guys. Thank you. See, it takes all of us putting our brains together sometimes. So then, yeah, that would make you think it was dropped. But I don't know. That's awful. It was a weird angle, he said. To get fully caught up on this case this weekend. Well, I'm so excited that you are getting caught up on it and going to talk about it and stuff. And Lynn, will you drop Parker's channel for me too? And then I'm going to drop Sleuth Moms one more time. And then you guys and Jen Luz, and then, yeah, CDT and Criminality. But I got theirs in the bot. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. I think we're pretty much done with this part, unless you guys have anything that you want to say. If somebody does, let me know while I'm getting the link to Sleuth Mom. Letecia Stauch body cam footage enlarged. Ooh, I need to watch that, because I was not able to hear the footage that was put out yesterday, and I definitely wasn't able to see it very well. So she has a video. That is the link I'm sharing, you guys. It's Letecia Stauch body cam footage enlarged. So that is going in the chat right now. It's so much testimony and so many words, so hard to remember when all I hear in my mind is yada yada blah blah blah. Oh, thank you, Criminality. Let me see. And then you got Parker's. Here is, speaking of Criminality, she did an excellent video on Gannon. Our lovely, beautiful friend, Bendy Lou, and then CDT and Melissa. Y'all are all here. People that are in here that are covering it as well. Okay. Most flexible girl in true crime. Hold on one sec, you guys. I'm sorry, I had to mute to watch that video that Christine made. Oh my God. But yes, Parker, Criminality's video, I just was putting that in the chat, will catch you up on everything. It's like 45 minutes long. I cannot believe that she remembered some of these things, that she had some of the screenshots of it. It's just from somebody who's been watching from the beginning. It is an excellent video to catch you up. So Saturday Search is in here, by the way, which is the video we just watched, and that link I just dropped. Oh, Crime Curious. I got to drop your link too. Saturday Search, yeah, is the person who just went to the bridge, MJ, that I was telling you guys about. Please go over there and, yeah, show her some love. And then I think I put Curious, maybe? Yeah. So, anyways, thank you, Crime Curious, the blue tie-dye heart. It was just a way to show Gannon some love, without being too, I don't know. Kelly will be live tomorrow, and I'll definitely see you guys this weekend. I want to talk about Lori Vallow. They've chosen a jury. Teresa, are you still listening to the West trial? Because how are you doing it? Because, with Lori Vallow, I know Nady, and it took him like 2 days to get the first audio. The audio costs $60 to $90 a day. They don't want people reusing it. I mean, he said you can embed it. He doesn't want you like copying it and posting it because of the cost. But if there was something that was really important, we could just request it ourselves. But I don't know how, I guess we can watch the daytime, watch Stauch, and then try to somewhat catch up with Lori Vallow during the nighttime once those start dropping. Oh, yay, Crime Curious. I'm so glad. Thank you, Modine. All right, you guys, I will definitely see you this weekend, either about Lori Vallow. There's a bunch of stuff with Julia I want to talk about, like some pretty crazy stuff. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Otherwise, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your interest in the case, in my channel, and all of this. Oh no, I just knocked over a soda. No. And right on my vape? Like, what are the chances of that? Anyways, I love you all. And this weekend, I'm going on Truth Tellers to talk about Bigfoot. And hopefully we'll have the first episode on Real Talk of that new show. So anyways, I will see you guys somewhere soon. I love you all. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And yeah, have a good weekend. Bye.